Hey, Star Fam, what's happening? We have a special thing that's going to happen on April 22nd, which is also Earth Day. Um, my friend Quinn just reminded me as we were going over this that I have a name called the Starseed Navigator. That's what we used to call myself. Um, and this is sort of what we're dealing with right now. I was actually looking into this comet that's coming. It's a blue comet, C29, C20, C2019. It's a blue-green comet, and there's some people that are kind of making it a parallel connection with the blue star Kachina, the return of the blue star Kachina, which is a Hopi prophecy. And my friend Quinn, he studied the way of the Magi. He does totem soul path card readings. He's an ascension guide, and he's a channeler. And he's also a researcher, and he's done a lot of work with the Hopi. He's actually had some firsthand experience with the Hopi. So I reached out to him and I said, Quinn, what's going on here? Is this something, are we actually now living these prophecies, no longer reading about them? And his response was, yeah, I think we might be living these prophecies. So now it's time to navigate. And he reminded me, aren't you the Starseed Navigator? So I'm just going to turn this over to Quinn right now. He's just going to share with us what he needs to right now. So Quinn, so tell us what's happening.
That's what ties it all together. The law of the one is in all of them, and then the Hopi, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
So the Hopi, 400 BCE is kind of where they're placed, and basically Orivi or Oribi or Orivi. There's many pronunciations of it. Is Third Mesa, where this prophecy rock is right around there, and it's a boulder that has basically a diagram, in my view, in my opinion, a diagram of the law of the one, the one heart path. So the one heart path is depicted on it, and there's also the zigzag path, and the zigzag path is basically when you're conflicted, you're in a space of conflict between your material possessions, your material world, your ego, your self-importance, and the earth itself. And as we know, a lot of times we can just completely forget about the earth. So I'm just going to move over here, and I'm going to show you, going to draw it out.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm about to draw for you what is on that rock. Can you see that board?
Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to choose a color here.
Okay.
And basically, what you have in the prophecy is you have this sort of porthole that's attached to a staff. And so the staff is being held by Masal. And Masal has this great recipe for how to live. And Masal is seen as the creator. So Masal's two lines that you'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Is this line that goes on and on. And this line, all right, which will do the zigzag path I just described. So when you see the zigzag path, there's also these circles. So these circles show up. And here, what you see is the people who chose this upper path. And the people that chose the upper path are, in the Hopi's view, a bit challenged because they're living in a world of illusion. So here they are buying into their illusion. Their illusions of the zigzag path.
Yes.
That has two minds.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Often confused and talking to each other. And as you know, in many ascension traditions, you use your heart to understand what to do. So as you use your heart to understand what to do, this is really your true indicator. It's the truth. Like when you fall in love,
Mhm.
You don't have, you can rationalize that, but it's not really a to-do list and a pro and con list. Should I be in
Yeah.
love with somebody or not? You
Yeah.
know it. Yeah, I mean, you completely know it. So you can talk yourself in and out of anything.
Mhm.
So this to have the two minds
Mhm.
is part of the zigzag path. And basically on this path, right? This path is the one heart path. The one heart path is
Mhm.
planting the corn.
Yeah.
And the Hopi are people of the corn. And basically, the corn has many meanings,
Mhm.
and in Native American tradition, as in many ascension traditions and
Mhm.
ascension traditions that merge with law of the one, this is the one heart path.
Mhm.
So, in all of those traditions, that that one thing that would determine it would be your heart, how you feel. If you're feeling light,
Yeah.
if you're feeling like very positive and you're
Mhm.
feeling light about something, it's
Mhm.
probably for you, right? But if you have
Mhm.
to think about it, if you have to think about it, right,
Yeah. Yeah.
there could be some confusion. So, they say yes, there's a bunch of wars here, all
Yeah. I
right?
heard about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, first war, second one, and then this third one,
Yeah.
well, we can say in prophecy, maybe that's already happening,
Mhm.
First World War, Second World War, Third World War. But how you live, how this plays out.
Mhm.
So yes, this what you refer to as the Kachina, the
Mhm.
Kachinas are basically, they're not gods, but they are star beings,
Mhm.
and they are celestial in nature, and they are our teachers.
Mhm.
So will this crossing that happens, that there's going to be a crossing,
Mhm.
will that be here in the center, or will it miss us?
Mhm.
Well, it depends.
Yeah.
It depends on what decisions we make on
Mhm.
the zigzag path, because the zigzag path has a drop off. But if you see
Yeah.
prophecy rock, right, goes all the way around the rock, but this one, the zigzag path,
It stopped.
drops off.
Yeah. That's what I
Yes.
saw. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the lower
So
path continues, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
So, basically, Masa is offering, right, timelines,
Yeah.
two different kinds of timelines where, in ascension schools, you realize that time is not linear, even though this looks linear.
Mhm.
Okay. This is not a linear element that the staff is delivering. And so
Mhm.
when you see timelines as they go, that there are choices on the
Mhm.
parallel paths, parallel timelines, and
Mhm.
whatever seems to be getting the most energy,
Mhm.
as in whatever you give your energy to grows,
Mhm.
determines what happens.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So according to the Hopi, yes, this is humans are still around in the
Right.
fifth world. You see, the passing
Yeah.
of, a Kachina, and you
Yeah.
see the Kachina, the blue star Kachina, which is
Yeah.
coming, and I'll get it for you. We'll
Mhm.
move back here.
I have a quick question while you're getting that. The circle and the cross, like you drew down there,
Yeah,
they I heard when I was researching that those are the two brothers. And then they have one brother. The prophecy is that if one brother, I think it was the red star, the red Kachina brother,
yeah,
if they meet again, if the red brother is holding his symbol is a cross, that means he's been distorted. If his symbol is a circle, that means that he's held the path. And I heard that the red brother is like us, the modern world right now, and our symbol is the cross. And what's ironic is that when you take the cross and the circle, we put the cross in a circle, that's the astrological symbol for Earth. So there's like a connection there too, I see. So I don't know what your take is on that.
yeah. I mean, and basically one thing means many things. So,
Right.
it's the masculine and the feminine coming
Yeah.
together.
Mm-hmm.
And if
What's the
the world is
symbolism?
out of balance, right?
Yeah.
If the world is out of balance, so when we see that there,
Yeah.
and we see a world out of balance
Yeah.
and a world out of balance, that is Koyaanisqatsi
Mm-hmm.
or Koyaanisqatsi.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Koyaanisqatsi, and maybe you've seen the movie Koyaanisqatsi. Koyaanisqatsi is basically, I think, the more formal pronunciation of it,
Yeah.
and that is world out of balance,
Yeah.
and that is the time we're living in.
Yes. Right.
So as all of that starts to, make itself known, the main the main father of it all, Taiwa,
Mm-hmm.
or Tawa if you see, but Taiwa,
Mm-hmm.
who, and Masa is his son,
Mm-hmm.
who has the staff that's offering the two timelines.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we see that prophecy is made by them and move forward. And this is all taught to the Hopi. The Hopi did not come up with this.
Okay. Right. Right.
This is taught to the Hopi
Mm-hmm.
by the Star Strangers or the Star Outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
It's a controversial term, Anasazi,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, basically that's, if you were to look it up, you would see that
Right.
term in a book. And basically they're the ones that are the predecessors
Mm-hmm.
and part of the Kachinas that instructed the Hopi to move across three mesas. And the
Mm-hmm.
three mesas mirror the belt of Orion.
Wow. Really?
And so when
Oh.
you see the pyramids of Giza,
Yeah.
which way the Magi is tied to,
Yeah.
uh, the the Fertile Crescent and the Giza Plateau,
Yeah.
the Hopi say in their prophecy that we would start making war, that people will have the first light of wisdom, and the first light of wisdom comes from the Fertile Crescent,
Yeah. Oh,
according to the
really?
Hopi.
Oh, whoa. That's crazy. So that's Sumeria.
Yeah, so that's Iraq. That is
Iran. Yeah.
Iran. This is like Lebanon. This is like getting across that
Oh,
whole
wow.
Fertile Crescent, the Tigris Euphrates Valley, Egypt.
Yeah.
So the way the Magi,
Uh-huh.
Hopi recognize that part of the world as those who are the holders of first light,
Oh.
and that we would, according to addresses that were given at the UN,
Mm-hmm.
there was a warning, okay, back in the 90s, that we would go to war with the people who were the holders of the wisdom of the first light.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then the Kachinas, are called out in terms of their behavior, in terms of their wisdoms in
Mm-hmm.
the Fertile Crescent as well. There are
Mm-hmm.
matchups of, we could go into that another time.
Yeah.
But basically, yeah, the Kachinas are here to instruct. So they say, yeah, you build your villages on three mesas. The
Mm-hmm.
three mesas, line up with Orion, as does the pyramids of Giza.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
Sirius is is part of it, and
Yeah.
these Kachinas, they're built so that you know to remember, not only to remember, but they're given to kids so that when the Star Outsiders or the Star Strangers return,
Yeah.
and they're, I think, called povotas, they're flying shields.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kids won't be afraid of them. So I'll get
Yeah.
one for you.
Oh.
Hold on.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah.
Blue Star Kachina coming right up.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what they give to kids. It's also like carrying on tradition, the stories. Yeah.
Yeah. So
You want to
so
turn it?
this is Sakwasoha,
Mm-hmm.
and Sakwasoha will come and say, all right, here's, will he dance in the square and take off his mask? And
Okay.
this signifies the end of the fourth world.
When he
And the
takes the
fourth
mask.
world
Mm-hmm.
is what we're in.
Right.
So, it's not clear, because you have, the first world ended in fire, the
Mm-hmm.
second world ended in ice, and the third world ended in a flood.
Mm-hmm.
And according to the Kachinas, which are, again, not gods, but, beings that come and visit,
Yeah.
and instruct, all of those calamities are, I'm not quite sure exactly how, but all those calamities are brought about by humans.
Oh,
So
human. Yeah.
what?
Mm-hmm.
So this is why they really go for, trying to instruct how to do the one heart path.
Mm-hmm.
So when those dances and those ceremonies happen, they're happening to prevent the end of the fourth world.
Oh, uh-huh.
So they're actively praying to try to prevent that from happening.
Right.
And when the ceremonies come to an end, they're pretty much saying, all right, I think it's going to happen. So
Yeah.
at that point, you can just see, and here's a picture from being out there,
Mm-hmm.
that this prophecy rock.
Yeah, that's what I've seen too. Yeah. So that's your wow. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So we're just basically drawing what you saw on the chalkboard
Yeah.
is that.
Yeah. You
And
know
this
what
is a diagram of
ho-
basically law of the one.
hold it up for a minute. I want to point. I when I was researching, I saw so on above. What the person was pointing out, that you see the figures above. They have two lines that signify their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the one on below, I forget his name, he's just a stick figure. So they consider that the one heart path, and the one above that has two lines as his body is the two heart path.
Yeah.
So and that's where you were talking about the two heart path. But then they also pointed out, I don't know if you can see it here, that the heads are disconnected on the two heart path. The heads are disconnected from the body. I don't know if that's how you see it there, but somebody
Well, yeah,
pointed
this is
out.
yeah, if you look at it in there,
Yeah,
basically that's having the two minds.
yeah, uh-huh,
And so, yeah, having, basically being in that moment of separation. And
yeah,
when you hear about ascension schools,
yeah,
they talk about the separation,
yeah, mm-hmm.
because the separation is your fragmented self.
You're
You
fragmented.
have a completeness about you that is your inheritance.
Mm-hmm,
So the way the Magi would reference it as you're an undiscovered planet, which is
mm-hmm,
not part of our solar system.
mm-hmm,
It's also your cosmic reward. But
mm-hmm,
in this way, the one heart path is to really just understand, that are part of your ancestors,
mm-hmm,
and you're an aspect of your ancestors.
mm-hmm.
And so you have all of that that you can call on also.
Right.
And so that's what always was fascinating to me, because the Hopi they're intense, but they're intense in a with humor and with joy about doing hard work.
Mm-hmm.
They would say it's if you go out there, it's not. I mean, for me, it's magical,
Yeah.
but I don't know that you would just go out there and find it glamorous. I mean, there's dust and dirt everywhere, and when
Yeah.
there's dancing in the plaza, people, as the sort of the whole Pueblo vibe, is everyone's on rooftops
Oh wow. Yeah.
looking down and below, and there's folding chairs on the rooftops.
Yeah.
And
Oh
the
wow.
dancers come out dressed like this,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're channeling
Yeah.
those Kachinas. And
Mm.
I think there's like 100 some odd Kachinas, and
Oh
there's a
really?
Kachina for, like, everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the stars,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just like the clans. You can, have people, the gentleman who relayed things to me was part of the tobacco clan. And
Mm-hmm.
then, you have the corn clan, and then you have bear clan, which, they really revere bear clan as being one of the most sacred, in terms of wisdom. And you have
Yeah.
coyote clan and so on.
Oh wow. Okay.
So, yeah, so you have all of this, when the dancers come in and they start doing their
Mm-hmm.
ceremonial dance,
Mm-hmm.
they're really enacting, uh, they're, in my opinion, they're channeling, but they would say this too, but in my opinion, they're channeling
Yeah.
those Kachinas.
Yeah.
So, in that whole lesson, it's not all that glamorous. It's like the one heart path is about, doing your work, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right.
It's
Yeah.
about planting, and in the planting, you're in direct connection to the earth that is giving you back a response.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and they have words for this that, we can go over in the talk, but
Mm-hmm.
those words are basically, the plants and all things in everything. I mean,
Yeah.
even the stone beings,
Yeah.
even crystals,
Yeah.
they all have life. So the
Yeah.
plants get up on, they kind of get up on their tiptoes
Yeah.
when you sing to them, and they grow for you.
Oh, the plants do.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
the corn is like their children. The
Mhm.
Kachinas they make are their children. The
Yeah.
pottery, this
Mhm.
guy's like, I've made like, yeah, I expected him to say thousands of pieces of pottery, but he said something like almost 300.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's, in my mind, I was like, that's it?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I was having a two mind about it. But I was like,
Yeah.
no, he's called to make some pieces that are big, some pieces that are small.
Yeah.
And basically each one of them are his children.
Oh,
Each one of them he has to care for.
mhm.
So, in the sense that if you live that way
Yeah.
and everything you do has intention,
Yeah.
then you say, yeah, you're living in the path of Masa is showing you this,
Mhm.
and Kokanwati is the female spider woman version of this,
Oh,
and the
really? Oh,
spider woman. Well, that's really important because
yeah.
the interconnection,
Yeah.
everything coming out of the earth, and with the spider web, you touch it here
Yeah.
and you feel it out there, and
Yeah.
you touch it, something is touched back there,
Mhm.
and you feel it here.
Yeah, it's part of all my teachings is every culture has a creator feminine that's related to a spider. Even in Egypt, Net,
Hmm,
the god, the mother of the stars is Net, Neth, right? And what is it, Freya?
exactly.
Yeah, the Norse. Um, something in the Greek mythology, Arachnia, something like that, which is, yeah. So everything. So
Well,
tell me more about the spider. That's interesting.
no, but it would blow your mind,
Mhm.
because it's like just what you said. The Fertile Crescent and the
Yeah,
Hopi
yeah,
have this, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and you'll find that with the Tibetans too, and
Hmm.
in the Tibetan belief system, there's crossover.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's, when you're practicing ascension traditions, there are no coincidences.
yeah, yeah.
So these, sort of serendipities are all part of, living through this prophecy. And the whole
Mhm.
point, depending on who you talk to, some people would say the point is to prepare because, things are going to get really difficult.
Mhm.
Uh, but the people I would speak with, whether they're Navajo, because the Navajo,
Mhm.
basically, the Navajo surround, this is Navajo.
Mhm.
This is
That's
Navajo sand painting. So the
okay.
Navajo surround the Hopi Mesa,
Mhm.
right?
Oh,
And
really?
they have a different medicine wheel.
Uh-huh.
They have
Yeah.
different understandings and translations for what the Anasazi are.
Mhm.
But they basically, animal totems are animal totems, and snake is snake, and eagle is eagle, and
Yeah.
coyote is coyote.
Mhm.
But yeah, this law of the one is
Mhm.
what binds everything together. And
Mhm.
you, from the petroglyph, from the ascension technologies that are ancient, that are what you would call, well, ancient, but older than that, antediluvian,
Yeah.
some would say.
Yeah, navigate, how to navigate and stuff. And then of course like you can probably, you take clients, right? So you can offer, ascension guide readings and totem readings and
Yeah,
magi.
I'm called in this time to offer power shield readings.
Okay.
So the
Yeah.
power shields are for clarity and protection,
Okay. Yeah.
and a time of transition.
Yeah. Interesting.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
this time period is a great adaptation,
Yeah.
and so to be able to flow with a great adaptation.
Mhm.
Yes, I'll be offering power shields. I also offer Way of the Magi readings so that you could see basically the book of you,
Yeah.
uh,
Mhm.
your karma gifts,
Yeah.
and the karma to be cleared,
Yeah.
and all of that according to law of the one.
Mhm.
According to law of the one, karma is
Yeah.
optional. I know that's a very controversial thing to
Oh
say,
wow, really? That is, huh? It's
but
Optional. So that
Yeah.
you can check that box before you reincarnate on Earth. Karma optional.
So I think so many people would disagree, but
Yeah.
in my estimation, the law of the one is that you are part of source energy, that
Yeah.
you are an aspect of source.
Yeah.
Source does not have karma.
Yeah.
Therefore, at the in the grand scheme of it, neither would you
Mhm.
unless you wanted it.
Yeah.
So first is to awaken to, am I on autopilot or not?
Wow. Interesting.
So
Yeah.
so once you see your predilections and you see these habits,
Ah.
it's one thing to see a mirror of yourself, but it's another way to see the path,
Mhm.
right? The path out of the mirror.
Yeah.
So when you
Oh
see the
wow.
path out of the mirror,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Uh, that would be what I focused on in the way the Magi is. Yes, you write your own story. You
Yeah.
write your own story. And what's the technology for that? And so for the Hopi, it would seem pretty simple, but yeah,
Yeah.
try it.
Try
Try
it. Yeah. Try it.
it.
I know.
See
Try
how
it.
far you get. And this is why
Ah.
there's readings and this is why there's guidance.
Mhm.
Because if I were to really tell you, that you're in an illusion
Mhm.
and I would show you your way out of the mirror,
Yeah.
would you ever want to leave the mirror?
That's the question. Yeah. Would you ever? How scary is it to leave the mirror? Yeah. Karma optional.
And
Yeah.
that's why the guidance is there,
Mhm.
because we don't just wake you up and say good luck with that.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Chances are you'd be like, where's my mirror? Oh my god, I can't see myself anymore.
Yeah. Oh
I
my
don't
God.
want that level of responsibility to
Mhm.
create my own fate.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, but then again, if you could see that it is with your intention through
Yeah.
the heart,
Yeah.
not those two heads, but the
Right.
heart
Yeah.
moving forward in the one heart path.
Yeah.
Of course, you would want to make your own fate because you can make it anything you want for your highest and best benefit,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
which is your inheritance. Because in all of these traditions,
Mhm.
whether it be Magi, whether it be Hopi, or all that,
Yeah.
you know, you didn't come into the world to suffer.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So the suffering is because of, the two, the two,
Two head.
what's going on there, having
Yeah.
two minds, having the
Yeah.
separation, having the duality.
Well, that's the age of Pisces too. That in symbology, the age of Pisces is half a circle, half a circle. Two souls, higher soul, lower soul, and then they're bound together by matter, which is the cross.
Cross, yeah.
Yeah, matter is where we are on Earth. So we're here to deal with polarities, human polarities of the human construct. But what's interesting is we're a lot of people say we're ending the age of Pisces. So all the prophecies are being lived, so we're ending the age of Pisces. We're coming into the age of Aquarius, which ironically enough is that squiggly line. It's two of those squiggly lines. So it's like, I don't understand what that means. But then um, the blue Kachinas, that comet is coming, and it's coming close to Earth. It might either it's going to come close to Earth on a pass in April or May, and then we're going to go through the tail of it in December around the solstice. And then the
Hmm.
tail is where we can get hit with a lot of debris. So is this the blue Kachina taking its mask off, showing the arrival? I don't. This is where we're at right now. So is it happening? Is it happening?
Well, that's just fascinating because I know you have, the epic telescope setup,
Yeah, yeah,
actually calculating pixel per pixel to take your
yeah,
deep space calculations
yeah,
to
yeah,
just for the rotation of the Earth. So
yeah,
trippy.
yeah. It's
And
real trippy. Yeah.
yeah, you're using the sidereal astrology and astronomy to line up to see, okay,
Hmm.
here's the blue Kachina,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's called this,
Mm-hmm.
and it's coming back.
Uh-huh.
And to what degree the subtle energy, what you're a vibrational match for,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the ascension schools would tell you, well, you're going to get what you're a vibrational match to.
Right. Like, because what's going to happen is, and like I said, it's a long orbit. I think it's matching the orbit of what they're saying Nibiru is, like 3,600 years, but some people say 5,000 years, but we don't really know. But is it cyclical? Are all these prophecies just part of these cycles? Like this happens. This is what's happening because this comet is orbiting the sun, and it's passing every 5,000 years. So we have to hold this knowledge for over 5,000 years so people can know and be prepared for what's going to happen. Because just basic scientific is we make the calculations. Yes, in 5,000 years, this comet is going to come. It's going to cross Earth's path. Whether it's going to hit Earth or not, maybe it's one thing. But its magnetosphere is going to pass through Earth's magnetosphere. Is it going to change our vibration? What is it going to bring up? Is that vibration coming close? If we're all connected through string theory, are we feeling that vibration already?
Mm.
These are the questions that are coming up for me too. Like a lot of spiritual channelers are saying the coronavirus is bringing up your deepest fears of being alone and facing your karma, all these things. And it sounds to me like that, like that's what you go through, like with the end of days. Like you're reviewing your path. Like what have you, where have you, what have you lived? And they're saying coronavirus is bringing this up, but then if you look at the blue Kachina prophecy, like that's also bringing, because it's bringing like the lifting the mask, and that's what we say, we live with the mask. So all these things are kind of parallel, and it's just like holy shit. Then that's why I reach out to you. I'm like, hey, are we living this? Are we actually living this right now? And the answer might be yes. This might not be something that we go to books for. This might be like, this is what we're living. We're living it.
Yeah, it's and how that plays out,
Mhm.
everyone can have, the hindsight on it,
Yeah.
but keep in mind that, that basically Prophecy Rock is
Hmm.
made long before the conquistadors ever got there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of these things and world wars and all of that,
Hmm.
it's fascinating because the Hopi are the people of peace, but they
Yeah.
also don't they don't take any guff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what I mean by that is they actually threw out the conquistadors.
They did.
There,
Yeah.
yeah, there was a couple of attempts to get in there, and they
Yeah.
never actually embraced uh, Christianity.
Hmm.
As a lot of other tribes. I think
Yeah.
there was he told me there was a church that got struck by lightning, and
Oh
that
wow. Yeah.
conquistadors, I think, built, and that is a bad omen. So no one would touch that. There's nothing they could do to get a Hopi to go into that church.
Oh no way.
So
Really.
because once it
Wow.
got struck by lightning, so but
Yeah. Yeah.
but they have they have traditions,
Uh-huh.
which that's part of the meditation that we'll do on the 22nd for Earth Day. They
Okay.
have a tradition for determining
Hmm.
like who is of the one heart path and who can be you know
Mm.
part of their program and who cannot.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
interesting. Yes. Uh-huh.
so there, that we'll go over that sort of meditation for boundaries,
Yeah.
because it's the boundaries that actually help them stay on the one heart path.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So the conquistadors failed that test, and
Yeah. And yeah. Also, too, the Taino. Like my descendants are Taino from the Caribbean,
oh
Puerto
yes,
Rico,
yeah,
and we've pretty much been annihilated by the conquistadors. But
yes.
we still live. So that's a whole other situation we'll get into. But yeah, let's wrap this video up so that way we can get it out there, share with our people, and hopefully we can get them to join us on the 22nd, because we're gonna have a
Aho.
yeah, we're gonna have a deep group conversation, interactive. Everybody's involved, but you're mainly gonna lead it. I'll give a little guidance on sidereal astrology and what I've seen, but I think this one is all you, brother.
Well, I'd love to hear your input, because just a culmination of things in the stars matching
Yeah.
up with
Hmm.
what an ancient civilization thought was going to happen.
Yeah. It's
Always
just
interesting.
yeah, a story thing. And that's that one thing before we go, like the whole thing with Prophecy Rock. Sometimes you look at it and it's easy to just disregard because it looks like childhood drawing, right? Because
Yeah.
my my research has always shown me that that is the way that they hide information and pass it on, is through art that doesn't look like it's technology. but but if you have a scientific mind and you really understand what they're doing, there's a lot of science and there's a lot of timeline information in that Prophecy Rock. But the conquistadors looked at it and they were like, oh my god. So I would imagine that the Hopis are like, oh, please don't destroy this rock, whatever. And they look at it and they're like, well, it's freaking stick figures. Okay, whatever, man. We'll leave it for you. We won't destroy it. But really, that is like the monumental, dictionary right there, all written in this little.
Oh yeah, and the conquistadors. I mean, I don't want to like minimize that.
Yeah,
They were a significant hardship for the Hopi for sure. They were very cruel to the Hopi,
yeah,
but ultimately they persevered, and so has this rock, and so
yeah,
has Way of the Magi. You see it today in ordinary playing cards, and yet if
yeah.
I explain to you the sacred geometry
Uh-huh.
that's in each one of those shapes, yeah, it's amazing. So
Wow. That's
yeah,
cool, man.
if you find your way
Hmm.
to you know appreciating what's hidden in plain sight,
Yeah,
you get
exactly.
some really awesome information.
Yeah. All right, brother. Yeah. So April 22nd, we're gonna have a group talk. We have a meditation, and you can connect with Quinn. And if you want to book him for some sessions, some ascension, I call it the ascension mystery of yourself.
Yeah, you can get me at mystic.citizen at gmail.com.
Okay, mystic.citizen@gmail.com. Cool, man. Yeah, so
Uh,
April 22nd, we'll get this out to our people and we'll just have a nice little chat. This will be beautiful.
oh
All
yeah,
right, brother.
thank
Yeah,
you for inviting me, and I look forward to hearing what you
yeah.
have discovered by that time, because I'm sure
Oh,
everything will have
yeah.
changed again.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I
Because
was
the
like,
stars keep
oh,
moving, right?
yeah, like,
They
whoa, what
keep
the hell is going
moving.
on? All right, brother. All right, we'll see you on the 22nd. We'll all be here.
Okay,
Nice.
more to
Peace.
be revealed.
Yes, exactly.